Hi, it's your boy, Sergeant Hooked on Heroes. Hitting you with another brand spanking review, this time for King-Ohger, Ohsama Sentai King-Ohger, episode 8. King-Ohger's hitting it hard, hitting out of the park. Each episode, very entertaining, pushing that plot along. It's definitely taken a note from Kamen Rider Geats in terms of being, fucking worth my time. And continuously entertaining all the way through. Not that Sentai hasn't. Most of Reiwa era has been amazing for Sentai. But yeah. So jumping off of last week, as we know, Gira and Rockley's now are going to be fighting each other. They're going to be doing a trial by combat, basically. Gira was found by Rita and what's his name? Kaguragi Dibowski. At the end of the last episode, and is now being told that he'll be, like I said, be doing trial by combat with Rockley's, which Gira's all about. He's like, all right, fuck, he wants to smoke. You know, he wants to do it. He's all about it. The Bugnarok general this week that they use is one that can shapeshift. Ends up taking on the form of Yama. That's for a little bit later. And as far as we can tell right now, Yama and Himena seem to really truly be allied with Gira for the most part. Rita's kind of undecided, and Kaguragi just seems to have his own aim, if you will, his own thing he's trying to do. But yeah, so they're trying to figure things out with the fight and everything because they know that they figure out they finished the testing of the venom, and Himena confirms that the same poison that was used to poison her parents was definitely came from Scorpy, from Sasarine, the shoe god, the Scorpion one, and so. God Scorpion. And so she confirms that, and she knows Rockley's will most likely use it. So right when they get to about the fight to start almost, these guards take him aside, and he's like, what's going on? And it's Dabowski and Himena and Yama telling them that they have a plan. They have a plan in place that they know for sure he's going to use the poison, and that this is what they're going to do. And so their plan is that she basically is going to swap out the poison with an anesthetic that will just put, Gira to sleep instead of killing him. They'll make a diversion, basically, make it look like he lost, because she says, this is Operation Gira will be mine. And she said, undoubtedly you will be bested by your brother in combat. It's funny, a little faith they have in him that he can actually defend himself. And Dabowski plays a kind of interesting role in this episode, very much so the aloof, dum-dum, almost Kronk-like figure, but it seems to be, there's something else going on here. Something else that he's trying to do to figure out information and to really figure out what Rockley's is all about. I don't think that Dabowski is entirely evil or even really 100% in any way allied with Rockley's, but I think he's trying to fully figure him out, or as much as he can, before he decides to fully join the team, as it were. Rita's still a little undecided, but I think once she sees some of Rockley's true colors, she'll be more on the side of the rest of the King-Ohgers rather than on his side. So that's the plan. So they set it up, and Dabowski gives him the poison. Gira's poison. Poison for Gira. Poison for Gira. Gira's poison. The poison that's meant for Gira. Gira's poison. Right. And they start their fight, and this fight, I know we're only 8 episodes in, is probably one of the most bombastic, amazing, badass, well-choreographed fight sequences I've seen in Sentai in a while. That's really saying something with the fights in Rhea Soldier, some of the fights in Kira Major, some of the fights in Dom Brothers. Honestly, even Zenkaiger had a few. It's really impressive, the work here. It really is. And I think it's heightened because of the swordplay, honestly. I think that does a lot to elevate the scene and really add to the stakes, if you will, which I like a lot and I think is a good thing to be a part of it. But anyway, so him and Rockley's fight. Of course, Rockley's uses the Ohja Caliber Zero, which with some leaks recently we know that the Ohja Caliber Zero was the first. The Ohja Calibers were based off of the Ohja Caliber, and whatever the Spider Kimonos is using, the Kimono Slayer or whatever it is the first weapon that ever existed to transform somebody before even the Ohja Caliber Zero. So very, very interesting how this is all kind of coming together. But we get to see Rockley's fully. He is that dude, and he fully transforms into Kuwagata Ohja. And it's a pretty clean suit. I really do. I know it's just like a palette swap, a color swap, if you will, of just the King-Ohger suit, but I like it a lot. I like that his sword is gold, and the way he fights just very, very, very fierce, very, strong, very vicious. He's not trying to be flashy in any way. He's just trying to demolish his enemy, which is his brother in this instance. And for most of it, Gira does hold his own. There's a few times he kind of gets knocked around or whatever. And there's a point where Yama runs out to him on the battlefield randomly and is like, I'm here to support you, friend, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, huh? What are you doing, Yama? Gets to him, gets knocked over, and he gets hit by the poison. And as it starts to hit him, he reverts back to the Bugnarok that was able to, change form or whatever, be a shapeshifter. And so, and cameras are watching their fight. So the cameras see this, and of course the fucking annoying ass dude in the hat guy, oh my god, it's like, see, he's helping the enemy, he's allied with them, look how much he cares about them, oh my goodness, blah blah blah. And so now everybody thinks Gira truly is allied with the Bugnarok, which is just ridiculous and stupid and irritating, of course. And they are super interested really in having that connection with him and getting, kidnapping him essentially, so they can have him be able to, not only talk to and translate from, but also have a control of some way over the Shoe Gods. So anyway, yes, that happens, and then him and Rockley's resume their fight, and he gets knocked over a cliff, my man, right into the one set where they used to do the Helheim Forest stuff in Gaim, and he's met by Yama, Himena, and Kaguragi again. I think Rita as well, I'm pretty sure, or maybe just three of them. Telling them that, we're on the run now, you're considered dead, everybody thinks you're dead, so we're going to keep it that way. And he goes along with it for now. He's not happy about it, but he knows this is probably the best way to try and move in the shadows to figure out what's going on with Rockley's, what if he was responsible in any way for Gira's, capture, by the bandits or whatever when he was, taken prisoner years ago, and what's really going on with all that in a way they can expose him for the villain that he is. But we also see Dabowski kind of talking and not really sure, not really sure about where he stands type of a thing. And then all of a sudden, God, what's it called? Hopper, the grasshopper, shoe god just comes out of nowhere. Who released it? Where did it come from? Who's in controlling it? Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Kanai Joe? But yeah, overall it was a really entertaining episode. I have to say that I really got to give it out to the actors in this season are really selling it. There are some moments here and there where the CG stuff does kind of get, I don't want to say out of hand, but kind of distracting a tiny bit. I'm more okay with it than others and have a higher tolerance for seeing it than others. But at this one, there was a lot less of that. There was a lot more practical effects, a lot more practical fights. I mean, we got to fight in the Quarry of Destiny, where it always happens, always goes down in the Quarry of Destiny. And I like there was no mecha fight. There was not a mecha fight at all. I'm hoping that they really learned from Dom Brothers in terms of not always having to have a mecha fight, and that the episode can still exist without it and still do well and, be something without it, even with a show that is so focused on the mecha being composed of these gods, essentially, that are integral to the story. They don't always have to be there to tell that said story, which I think is cool. Only negative I really have is that I wish that they would have just eked out a bit more of what's going on with Dabowski, and maybe a tiny bit more with Rita being more, farther on her path to being convinced to join them. I'm sure that'll come eventually. It'll probably be Dabowski first, and then eventually her getting convinced to join. But overall, it was still a really good episode, really entertaining, some great moments between the characters. I still really enjoy Gira, but I really enjoy Yama and Himena. I don't think I've liked two Rangers other than the red on the team this much equally, this much, and this fast in the Sentai season. It's been a while. But they're really, really good, and I like them, and I like their dynamic. I like their budding kind of romance, or at least their attraction anyway. That I hope goes somewhere and doesn't just fall apart, because it's been a while since we've had a real romance on the team type of thing. So overall score-wise, I probably would give it somewhere around an 8.5 out of 10. It was still a good episode, definitely worth watching and all of that. Not as strong in my opinion as last week, but it was still really good, and I think that I don't knock it down to any points at all for the fight. The fight is amazing. Is honestly amazing. Honestly, I might even amend my score. Last week I know I gave it probably 9.5. This one I would give this episode probably a 9. Let me know in the comments below, what did you guys think of the episode? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Were you in the middle? Your favorite moments? What do you think is happening with Dabowski? What is Rockley's true goal? His connection to Ragnarok. We do know through scans and stuff and through pictures and everything now of what Spider Kumonos looks like, which is the new going to be the new team member in the show, who has a tarantula shoe god essentially. Uses what's called the Kimono Slayer, which is a sword that has like a little spider on it, and he like puts a key into it, and which if you look closely, the keys look like ranger keys. That's how he transforms. He has a little key ring with the other keys. The keys seem to unlock different attack modes for the weapon, for the weapon / changer. And also, one of them talks about like some kind of berserk form, some kind of like Ragnarok berserk form. So it makes me wonder if maybe it's a human Ragnarok hybrid, or a human that's like influenced or, you know, been mutated by the Ragnarok in some way. He also has this like exterminator little sprayer thing that's like a gun apparently. So I really want to see how that works, and how that's going to figure into his character and overall his aesthetic. The suit is fucking immaculate. It is completely. We finally have a white 6th Ranger for the first time in like, I think it's been like 15 years or some crazy shit since I think Decker Ranger. I'm pretty sure. So it's a white suit. The helmet is white and has black for the, you know, tarantula on the front. Doesn't really tell you where they would look out of and how they would see, but whatever. The suit has gold on it. He has a waistcoat instead of having like the little cape thing. He has a waistcoat around his waist. That's really cool, and it's like tattered, so I think that's kind of cool. Definitely gives off like an assassin or paid hired gun type vibe. So I wonder if that's going to be what the idea is behind him, and he's maybe hired by Rockley's to like go after the team, maybe even like hire him to be the one to, you know, assassinate his brother, and then somehow Gear is able to convince him to join them instead, but it might take a while. And I would like to see a 6th Ranger be more adversarial for longer than we usually get them to be. I think would be good. Yeah, so that's kind of some of the updates and things we know going forward with King-Ohger and what's coming. And the stuff I mentioned before about the timeline of the weapons and what came first, Kimono Slayer, Ohsama Caliber 0, then the Ohsama Calibers. So, source content this week, definitely check out my review for King-Ohger that you're watching right now, but then also for Kamen Rider Geats. I have my review up for that hopefully today as recording this. There'll be no episode of the what's it called? Jesus Christ, the podcast this week. We are both very busy this week, so definitely Frankie and me as well now. So next week we'll be on with Juki Collects and Squid Boy Toys, talking about our favorite, basically the awesome world of Toku toys, and then also another fun topic, which is going to be what toys we would save in a fire. So should be pretty fun. If you hear me say toys and you looked behind me, you might see all the different things that are a part of my shelf now. I found this cool double-sided tape in my garage, and I was like, well, I don't have anywhere. It was kind of a way, it was like a click, because like I flipped a switch in my head about like having like less space to display stuff. I was like, well, why don't I just fill up my wall with, you know, I already have some of the changes and stuff. Why don't I put some of the gimmick items up? Like I don't need them for anything right now. I'm not going to make any videos out of them. I'm not going to display them in any other way. So I decided to put them up. So I got like the Ryuki, the Advent deck stuff there, the Neo Deca driver, the Grand Geo, the sticker from K20 Customs there, a few stickers up there. There's a few Ranger keys over here. What's his name from the Geats movie? Power Builder Rider Man. His ID core there. Yeah, decided to put them up there. There's some Riosols over here, some build stuff. If I aim the camera down more, I think you can see it. Let's see. Yep, you can see some of the other build stuff and progress keys and stuff there. And then over here, I have some Beast batteries and the Gates Ride Watch and a few other things. So, again, I just thought it'd be fun to kind of add some stuff there, kind of make it pop and be more lively, if you will. Content for the channel, other than that, I do want to pretty soon, I'll have to get it back from work and bring it home to review it. Do my Toku Toy View finally on the Veil/Deathstream driver. Do a Toku Toy View on that, showing all the features, the sounds it makes, and how much I just fucking adore that driver. And then I do have a Shin Kamen Rider Ichigo figure arts coming in pretty soon, so I might do a review on that as well. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching, for liking, commenting, sharing, all that really good stuff. Subscribing, thank you guys so much. We're almost near 500 subscribers now, which is just still absolute insanity. You guys want to hear me ramble on and on about bullshit all the time, but hey, makes me happy. Thanks, guys. But until next time, you stay hooked on henshins. Or heroes, I'm sorry, and henshins, but mostly heroes. I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.